It's Saturday, February 7th. February. How are you supposed to say this month? Why is there that first R in there? I don't know. These are the things that I think about, while living alone in the woods. Anyway, it's the month after January 2021. And I'm out of breath. I don't know. I have some good news. I sold my house. I sold my house in Connecticut. So I listed it the first week in October 2020. I had an offer above asking price in less than 24 hours, and I ended up taking that. So the house is sold. I left my former house on Thanksgiving morning, so the end of November, even though it was a couple weeks until the closing because it got changed a couple times. But I left the end of November, haven't been back. Been here full time, living in the cabin. So my first full winter up in the cabin, because last year I started up here in January. So, good news. I got more money than I was expecting, so I actually ended up buying a brand new Chevy Colorado pickup truck. So I never really thought I would buy brand new because I can generally fix anything that goes wrong with a vehicle. But after my 25-year-old 280,000 mile Jeep, let's see, I think it decided to stop running, I think 3 times while on the highway in the last 2 years. So that got me thinking it might be nice to have a vehicle I didn't really need to maintain for at least a few years. Didn't need a fix. There it is, brand new truck. Hopefully it lasts me many, many years. Be nice if it makes it at least 25 years like the Jeep, but we'll see. So we got the brand new truck, and I'm up here full time, and done a few things to help me help make life easier in the winter. So last winter I just had one solar panel, which does pretty well in the summer, but in the winter it was not cutting it. So those are all brand new behind me. I've got 4 brand new solar panels. Each one is 100 watts, or another way of measuring that is they're each about 18 volts, 6 amps when in full sun, which full sun is not happening in New England in the winter. So at full sun, they'd be pulling about 6 amps, but I'm lucky to get 1 amp out of each panel, in January, February. June, July, August, be a different story. But even those are not totally cutting it if I get a few days in a row of overcast. So I bought 4 more, and when I find a minute, I'm going to hook those up, and then I should be good. What I was doing is I was running the generator at most once a week just to charge up the batteries, charge up everything, and then I'd be good if it had been overcast for a few days. So it's not like I was running out of electricity, but it'd be nice to just get it from the sun and not have to maintain anything like running the generator. I also built a sawhorse for cutting up logs outside, small logs at least, ones that I can lift. So that's right over here. So I've still been cutting up some logs, even in the winter. I've been finding standing deadwood and cutting those up, so I have stuff that I know will burn really hot, throw out a lot of BTUs real quickly. So that's some of that deadwood. Thin enough that I don't even need to split it. But if I did need to split it, made sure I've got the log splitter in an accessible area. So there's some logs waiting for me to process. Back on the side of the cabin here, we've got plenty of wood. Should take me through the winter. I Actually haven't even gotten to this yet because I'm still working through the wood in the, what do I call this thing? The wood shed? Sure. I'll get a few more weeks out of this stuff, but I'll certainly go through it. Then on the porch, I think I do this every year. That's, or at least I put wood on there every year, but this year that is all standing deadwood. All of that was as seasoned as it gets. So that's the stuff reserved for, you know, the nights that are in the negative teens, negative 20s. That way I don't have to walk far to get it, and I know it's going to keep the place real hot. Another big thing off my list is finally getting that beam under the original part of the cabin. Now, I've got a bunch of junk, tarps and stuff, but that beam, so that goes the length of the cabin, and that is on supports, on patio blocks and some lumber. So I put the beam under there. I lifted it up with bottle jacks, so where it was sagging in the center of the cabin, it did lift it a bit. It was noticeable, which was nice. It's also not bouncy anymore. Like if I go in there and jump, it'll still shake things on the shelves a little bit, just like it would in a regular house, but you can tell that there's support under there. So I have a new method of getting my water, my drinking water. All my water now comes from the well. I'm finally able to utilize that, even in the winter. So I got a little water pump that is simply powered by a drill. So, I mean, you know, there's not much to a water pump. There's a little rubber thing in there that spins around real fast, pushes the water through. So stick this end down into the well, and the well never freezes. No matter how cold it gets, at best, or at worst, I guess, there's a thin layer of ice on it, which can poke right through. Never any big deal. But stick this in the well, and then the other end will just go into a water jug that I've got, and I just have to spend a couple minutes with the drill and get a few gallons out of the well. Do that every couple days. Makes life easy instead of carrying it in from somewhere. And the well water should be pretty good. It's filtered through the earth, of course, but just as a bonus, I do throw it into a Brita pitcher in there, so it's getting filtered again. And I've been drinking nothing but well water since November, and I'm fine. So we're good. Haven't really done much new on the inside, because really a lot of my day-to-day is keeping the cabin warm, keeping potable water on hand. Go for a hike with the dog every day at lunchtime. She loves that. She also loves that she hasn't been on a leash in months. You enjoying that freedom? I think so. There's the indoor part of my new solar setup in the addition. So, new charge controller right here. You can see it's charging. You can see the battery's full. These two wires go all the way, so there's the front of the cabin. And right now they're just lying on the ground, of course, under the snow, the wires are. But those go to the solar panels. And I left some slack, a little extra wire, just in case for the future. So that's all hooked up. The only part of this that isn't hooked up right now is the inverter, the big inverter there, which will connect to this fuse and then go to the batteries. But for now I just have the small inverter hanging right off the batteries. So I just need to finish running the wires to make this more permanent. It's working though. Oh, and I double checked. I said it was February 7th. It's the 6th, but you know what? Who the F cares?